Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Soulful Entrepreneurs podcast. And so today I want to talk about the difference between the helping professions. And I get this question a lot, which is why I wanted to talk about it today. What is the difference between a mentor and a coach and a consultant and a therapist? And how do I know what I need? What would be helpful for my particular situation? And so I really believe that we need all of these professions. Okay. And so there's a sense of overlap in some of them, but in the end, when you're looking for a coach, a therapist, a mentor, or consultant, it's really important that you feel connected to the person and you feel like they can make a difference and help you. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So let's start with a mentor. So I've seen a lot more use of the word mentor recently in the coaching industry. And so there is a difference, though, between a mentor and a coach. And a mentor is a person that is passing on their skills and knowledge, right? And they're focusing on their experience and the strengths of the person that is the mentor. And so the way that they help people is by sharing, modeling, and teaching. And, the agenda is set by the mentor. So the model is more of like almost like a hierarchical nature where the mentor is the person that is, let's say, holds the authority, right? Kind of like a parent. And so this person then has the expertise and they can almost scaffold and support you into what you're doing. So you can have a mentor for work, for instance. Maybe you have someone that you work with at your place of work that is in a position where you would like to be in a few years, right? So that's kind of like an example for mentoring in like a corporate environment. But when you have mentoring in more of like the business environment, it's important to look for someone that has been there and done that, right? So they have had the experience and they have accomplished what you would like to accomplish, or something at least similar to what you've accomplished. And so when you're looking for a mentor, that is what you're looking for. Where um, this is very similar to a consultant, which is the next helping profession. Okay, so people almost will bring a consultant in when they're trying to solve a specific problem. And so instead of, like with a mentor relationship, you're having conversations, seeing what the person needs, you're making recommendations, right? A consultant is more kind of outside, right? They don't actually are not necessarily part of the organization, and they can see things in a way that, like, being away and afar from it and not involved in it, that a person that's in the daily operations cannot see. And so they're trying to solve problems that are occurring um, in the business or the department or wherever they're working. So they do that by just kind of being an observer. They can then, even do interviews. They can ask questions, and then they advise, right? And so then, based on that, they make recommendations as to what needs to be done to make the changes that are required, right? And so there's really kind of like them more external and kind of looking and creating solutions, right? And then the implementation usually happens by the people that are the entrepreneurs or the company or the department. Okay, so that's the mentor and the consultant, where a mentor is more someone in your position, right? And or similar to what you do and just ahead, right? And so then a counselor, on the other hand, is someone that really focuses more on kind of the past, right? And you wanting to overcome past problems and like a sense of like almost feeling incomplete, broken, and that you want to move past these emotional kind of challenges and issues. A lot of counselors and therapists work with mental health challenges such as PTSD, trauma, also maybe schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, major anxiety, like OCD, like so things like that, right? So counselors trained in how to work with these situations and and mental kind of challenges that individuals have. And so it tends to be like a really long term situation and a long term relationship. And it's definitely a situation where the therapist is um, the authority, right, in the situation. So they are. Not necessarily telling you what to do, but they're more directing the situation. Therapists are great listeners too, though, right? They're not going to be like a person that is, let's say, a mentor who's like like where you want to be, and so they're advising you where to go, right? Instead, they're able to be experts at helping you move past those emotional challenges and mental challenges from the past so that you can then function well in society, right? And so when a person is working with a therapist and counselor, like I said, you tend to work for a longer period of time, and so that you can really dive into the challenges and move forward in being in the world, right? So now the last profession I want to talk about is coaching. So there is a little bit of overlap between coaching and therapy in only one aspect. Okay. And so I want to be clear, a coach is not a replacement for a therapist. And um, some therapists do coaching as part of their practice, right? And so the coaching is really there to take you from just kind of functioning in society to reaching your potential. Okay. And so sometimes the coach is coming from experience, right? Similar to a mentor, but they are more um, using, some methodologies and, really good questions. And it's like a partnership, so there's not necessarily that situation where a coach is telling you what to do, kind of, right? So you're looking at creating something in the future. They're asking you powerful questions. What your focus is on the session is chosen by the client, right? And the coach is there to help guide you to reach your goals and through your own wisdom, your own inner wisdom, instead of telling you what you need to do, right? Doesn't mean that sometimes a coach can't make some recommendations, um, but that's not really the role, right? So they may make recommendations more so to give you kind of like, I know with my clients, I give them kind of a homework assignment, right? Where like, it involves some introspection and maybe some visualization and some other work, or actually implementing what we talked about in the session and seeing what happens. And then they come back and talk about that experience, and then we work through it, right? So, but I will not say you have to do this, this, and this. It's more about what is it that you want? What's getting in your way? Let's move forward let's see what's stopping you from moving forward and achieving your goals. Let's work together to make these things happen, or at least make the steps clear, right? And so sometimes, as you can see, kind of be a blurred line between counselor and coach, because maybe you're working with a therapist or a counselor, and then you're functioning well, but they want to help you, even be even better in whatever area you're seeing them for. Let's say it's for relationships, so they may help you get more than just functioning, right? So that's a possibility. That's kind of where the overlap is, where a coach is not going to go and work through your past trauma, for instance, right? So that's not in the scope of practice of a coach. Now, a mentor and coach may have some overlap, especially if you're working on like the career sphere or business, like that kind of coaching. Mentoring kind of can be part of the process, but that's not the sole kind of purpose of the relationship, right? So even though there could be some overlap, and just like there's overlap there, there could be a little bit of overlap between mentor and consultant, right? And so like a consultant, observes and gives recommendations. A mentor can do that as well, but that's not the primary role of a mentor relationship, right? A mentor's role is not just to stand back and observe and give recommendations. It is actually to work with you, to help you to teach you, model, so you can learn how to achieve what they've achieved. Okay. A consultant may or may not have achieved exactly what they're recommending that be done, but they've maybe had that similar role in or another organization, or had a different type of experience that kind of applies to the situation that they're consulting for. Okay, so even though there's some overlap and it can create some confusion, in the end, what you look at is, what is your primary goal? What is it that you need support with? Okay. So if you're having a hard time getting out of bed and feeling like, I don't know, what to do with my life and things like that, then you could say, well, do I need a coach or do I need a therapist? Right. So is it that you can ask yourself, like, am I having a hard time getting out of bed because I don't know what to do with my life? Or is it I'm just depressed and feeling like I just don't want to get out of bed, right? So if it's because you just don't feel like getting out of bed and life feels not there's much hope, there's not much to look forward to, then maybe therapy is the right route, right? But if you're not getting out of bed because you're just tired of the way your life is right now and you want to make some changes in your life, you just don't know how, then coach is probably the right next step for you, right? And so oftentimes I see people marketing and calling themselves these terms interchangeably, even though it doesn't accurately describe what they do. So if you're looking for support, look at what the person says that they do. And that can tell you whether they're actually a coach or a mentor or consultant, right? Usually a therapist, counselor is very clear about the boundaries of what they do, right? They have that role, the licensure. So you're really clear. Where the kind of confusion can happen is between mentor, consultant, and coach. And then also someone deciding between like working with a life coach and a counselor or a therapist, right? So that's kind of where the confusion can lie. So no matter what you choose, I've every time I've invested in support, it's always been beneficial in some way, shape, or form. So investing in yourself is exactly what I just called it, an investment. And so a lot of times people will think, oh, I'll invest in myself when this happens, or I'll read this book first, or I'll do this thing first. But in the end, working with a professional is going to accelerate that process, right? And so if you're okay with waiting for a longer time for something to happen, then go ahead and read the book and try to do it on your own. But if you know that you're ready and you want the support and you want to move forward and you want to live differently and you want things to work in an accelerated rate, and you believe, you know what, life is too short to hold back, I'm going to invest in coaching or consulting or mentorship, then I would recommend you just do it, right? Of course, fear is part of the process. You are going to feel some fear. That happens anytime you invest in anything, especially personal growth, because there's a part of you that doesn't want to change, right? And wants to keep things the same. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're looking at support, to go ahead and invest in that. And if you're interested in having a call with me about your business, your success, your blocks in those areas, then I'd love to talk to you, and you can book a call. I have a link available. In this month, I have a few spots. I don't do a bunch of these calls. I don't have a lot of time in my calendar to do like one a day or something, but I'd love to speak with you and hear how I can support you in moving your business, improving your success, and just making things better. So this is Kavita with the Soulful Entrepreneurs Club. Until next week, I will come to you with more tips, strategies, and hopefully things that can help you move forward. And in the meantime, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that. And so you can know when our episodes are released, and share the episode with others that you think that would benefit. Take good care. Bye.